Ibrahim. Ibrahim migrated with his belief from his country Iraq to Palestine and then to Egypt along with his wife Sarah. There are only true believers on the face of the earth which was filled with infidelity and atheism, except him, his wife, and Lut, peace be upon them. Only 3 on the face of the earth carry the mission of Islam message and belief. Sarah witnessed the dialogue between Ibrahim with worshippers of planets and stars, and how did Ibrahim show them by proving that those planets, stars, sun and moon appear and disappear, shining, setting, and that a person should worship only Allah alone, and to direct his face towards Allah who created the heaven and the earth as Muslim submissive and believer.
فلما رأى الشمس بازغة قال هذا ربي هذا أكبر فلما أفلت قال يا قوم إني بريء مما تشركون إني وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا وما أنا من المشركين.
Ibrahim came to Egypt to call for monotheism and the worship of God. There was a king in Egypt who followed his desires. The king entourage conveyed to the king that a beautiful woman accompanied by an old man from the north deserved to be presented to the king, and the king ordered that the woman to be presented to him. Sarah and her husband were surprised that the king has called them, and she knows from what she heard from the people of the country how the king's behavior is with beautiful women, and she knows that the weapon of the believer in every matter always is supplication to Allah and seek his help. Sarah called the God, O Lord, if you know that I believe in you and your messenger, don't let the infidel to have power over me. The king asked Ibrahim who's with him. Ibrahim told him, she is my sister. He meant his sister in the religion of Allah. Sarah was taken to the king. Ibrahim was outside the palace immersed in reverent prayer and constant supplication that Allah preserved his wife. When she entered, the king grabbed her hand and Sarah pulled her hand away from him. Then he held her hand a second time and she did the same as the first time. And the king said, pray to God for me and I don't harm you. So he released her, then called some of his retinues and said to them, you did not come to me with human being, but you brought a devil. Then he released her and gave her Hajar to serve her. She went to Ibrahim. While he was praying, he asked her with sign, what is the news? She said, Allah protected me from the wickedness of the infidel. And she told him what happened. It was a very long journey from Iraq to Palestine and then to Egypt, so that Ibrahim and Sarah to meet Hajar after suffering with king of Egypt. Sarah and Ibrahim, her husband, longed for a child, and their desire was not for the adornment of this worldly life. Rather, desire was for the one who carries the burden of the message. Sarah was barren, and Ibrahim longing of a child. The journey to Egypt destined by God was part of the fulfillment of the desire, where Sarah gave Hajar to Ibrahim after their return from Egypt with cattle, sheep, and servants, and a lot of money as gift to them from the king of Egypt. Ibrahim married, and God blessed him with his son Ismail, who was the realization of the good news to Ibrahim.
وتلك حجتنا آتيناها إبراهيم على قومه نرفع درجات من نشاء إن ربك حكيم عليم ووهبنا له إسحاق ويعقوب كلا هدينا ونوحا هدينا من قبل ومن ذريته داود وسليمان وأيوب ويوسف وموسى وهارون وكذلك نجزي المحسنين. وزكريا ويحيى وعيسى وإلياس كل من الصالحين، وإسماعيل واليسع ويونس ولوطا وكلا فضلنا على العالمين.